Welcome back to your latest aviation industry recap. Today's update is all about new aircraft orders and how airlines are rapidly expanding their fleets. So if you love hearing about shiny new jets and major airline moves, you're in for a treat. Let's kick things off with British Airways, which has officially been confirmed as a customer for 6 brand new Boeing 777X aircraft. The deal, finalized by the International Airlines Group, IAG, which owns British Airways, is part of a much larger aircraft acquisition plan aimed at modernizing its entire fleet. Interestingly, this isn't the first time British Airways has put its money on the 777X. Way back in early 2019, they placed their initial order for 18 of these aircraft, with options for 24 more. That initial deal had a sticker price of around $18.6 billion, though. As is standard in the industry, British Airways likely received significant discounts due to its long-standing relationship with Boeing. At that time, the plan was for Boeing to start deliveries in 2022, continuing through to 2024. The assumption was that the full initial batch would be in British Airways' hands by 2025, that's this year. But here's where things get complicated. Fast forward to today, and not a single 777X has made it to British Airways. In fact, the aircraft still isn't certified. The program has faced multiple delays, turning what should have been a smooth fleet renewal process into a long, frustrating wait. This situation is especially painful for British Airways because the 777X was meant to replace its iconic 747s. Originally, the retirement of the 747 fleet was scheduled to align with the arrival of the 777X, but the pandemic changed everything. International travel collapsed, and BA retired the 747s early. Now, with travel bouncing back, the airline still doesn't have the aircraft it planned to replace them with. It's been a tough road, and for BA, the delays with Boeing have had real operational consequences. Switching gears, let's talk about India's largest low-cost carrier, IndiGo. The airline has just taken a significant step toward boosting its international presence by expanding its lease deal with Norse Atlantic Airways for Boeing 787 Dreamliners. This new agreement brings the total number of leased 787-9s from 4 to 6. These aircraft come from Norse, a long-haul, low-cost airline that exclusively flies 787s. The lease deal starts at 6 months, with the possibility of extending up to 18 months based on mutual agreement. The new aircraft are expected to join IndiGo's fleet in early 2026. Why is this significant? Well, IndiGo sees the rising demand for international travel out of India, and they know they can't afford to sit back while Air India, the national carrier, rebuilds and invests in wide-body aircraft of its own. This lease gives IndiGo a short-term solution to tap into international routes while it waits for its new Airbus A350s to arrive. Make no mistake, these Dreamliners are a temporary fix. The real long-term game-changer for IndiGo will be the A350s, which will allow them to aggressively expand internationally and compete on longer routes. But in the meantime, this 787 lease is a smart move to fill the gap and strengthen their presence abroad. Finally, let's revisit IAG. Yes, they're back in the headlines with yet another massive aircraft order. This time, the group has placed a new mixed fleet order with both Boeing and Airbus. From Boeing, IAG has ordered 32 Boeing 787-10 aircraft, all of which are headed to British Airways. Plus, they've secured options for 10 more Dreamliners if they choose to activate those later. But Boeing wasn't the only winner. Airbus also came out ahead, with IAG purchasing 21 A330neo aircraft, specifically the A330-900 variant. These jets will be distributed across 3 IAG carriers: Aer Lingus, Iberia, and Level. The deal even includes options for 13 more A330neos down the line. After a slow start at the beginning of the decade, especially during the pandemic, the A330neo program is now picking up serious momentum. Major orders like this one show how demand for wide-body jets is returning in full swing. To wrap it up, both Airbus and Boeing are still very much in the game. Despite recent challenges, be it trade tensions or supply chain issues, airlines know that securing new aircraft is essential for long-term planning. The skies are busy again, and carriers want to make sure they're ready for the next decade of global travel. Thanks for watching this industry recap. Got thoughts or questions? Drop them in the comments. I'd love to hear what you think. Until next time, stay safe and keep flying high.